And we're talking about Cleveland Cavaliers versus Detroit Pistons. We're going to start off with how they fared in the regular season. When you look at it, Eric, 3 wins for Cleveland Cavaliers, 1 for Detroit. What number jumps out for you?
You know, I think it's more of points per game. The fact that how low they were able to keep, Cleveland Cavaliers team that was, they're explosive, can score a lot of points. But to keep them under 90, even though they only won 1 game, was still impressive to me.
It is. And now let's look at the offensive numbers. We're going to break down the offensive numbers right here. When you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers scoring 100 points, but also in this, like you said, and holding Detroit Pistons down to 94, those numbers are fantastic. And I think when you look at, as you a defensive player, Eric, and playing with the Cavaliers, that's a big number, a big jump for them to holding teams down defensively.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I think if they have to continue to do that, and they have to start it in round 1. If you want to continue to maintain it throughout the playoffs, you continue to carry over from the regular season into the playoffs, not get too excited. Keep your focus on the goal at hand. And as you can see, I'm talking about defense.
That's right.
Let me see. Uh-oh.
Right,
there you go. There we go. Defense. Let me see here. Where we go? Detroit Pistons? What you think, Smitty?
Well, the thing for me is what the Cleveland Cavaliers, their team, they're holding their team to 43%,
yes,
which is great numbers. And I think for them is, for me, block shots. That's a number. And I don't know the Cavs numbers last year or the year before, but there's not a lot of guys that block shots. Ilgauskas, even though he's at his height, didn't block a lot of shots. You got to give a lot of credit to LeBron James because his numbers went way up, and you talk about steals. And I don't see a lot of guys playing the passing lane on that team besides LeBron James.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I also think that the rebounding is going to be major. You think of defense, you got to think of rebounding, because if it's one rebound difference, I think if Detroit Pistons can come out and rebound more, maybe get some offensive rebounds, and at the same time, rebound defensively and cut down, because I think that'll cut down on the Cleveland Cavaliers' fast break. I think that'll help them also. And next, we'll go to the – help me out there, Smitty.
We got you.
There we go. Matchups. This is a key thing for me. Let's go right here. And where we at? Where that guy at? There we go. Point guard. Not him. No, not him. Give me another one.
Gotcha.
There you go. That's my guy right there. This is the matchup. You tell me what you think, but I think that if Stuckey can somehow play to the level of Mo Williams, the All-Star, and he can balance him and kind of put pressure on him on both ends of the court, and then have Bynum come in behind him and play to the level or outplay Daniel Gibson, it would really help the chances of Detroit Pistons.
Well, let me pose this question to you, Eric. As a point guard, you usually own ball defender. With this series, I think Rodney Stuckey will not be on the ball because the ball's in LeBron James' hands. And for me, as a point guard, the mentality, you tell me, of playing off the ball and trying to get back out to a shooter.
It is different because most of the time you're used to playing the guy and then you're following the pass where you're going away from the pass. But now all of a sudden you're sitting in help, because so now your instincts gravitates you to the ball more, which means you got to be careful with that, because if you leave Mo Williams, knock down 3.
Got you. This is Eric's matchup. For me, this is unbelievable because I think these two guys, we always talk about the stars when you talk about Tayshaun Prince and LeBron James, but this is a matchup that could decide the game. My X factor, when you look at it in this series, for me, comes from the Detroit Pistons. And that guy for me from the Detroit Pistons is my good friend, Rasheed Wallace. This is the guy right here, to me, is the X factor in this whole series for both sides, because when he wants to play offensively, he can pose a lot of pressure on the Cleveland Cavaliers because he's inside, the outside, and on that defensive end, they're going to really need Rasheed Wallace, because when LeBron James breaks down people, he's the one guy, the KG type, that can step in, stop LeBron James, get back to his guy, and still defend. And then for me, for a guy that you can throw it down to, and then also a guy that can space the floor, to me, Rasheed Wallace is going to be the X factor in this series.